when you start to develop this image, this approach to something that it's new for you, but at the same time you start to find about you, oh, I actually like this. I actually like, it's not all hate. You actually start to liking things, start to appreciate things. And people start to appreciate you because you start to appreciate yourself as well. So all these things is like a reflection, it's like a mirror. It just bounces back to you. It's such an energy.
So yeah, I just wanted to start off the interview and just tell me about yourself. I love your page. I love your Instagram page. And how long have you been around? What kind of got you into doing custom tailoring?
Okay, so yes, I have been doing this for the last 13 years. 2007, that's when I started. I was living actually in Melbourne, Australia. I didn't have any background at that moment in tailoring, but I did have some knowledge in personal shopping and image consulting. And that's where I started. And why did I start it? Basically, I thought that there was a niche for menswear at that moment, and men need some help to get involved in better styling and dressing better. I was actually in an IT service desk, and people used to say I was the best dressed guy in the department. So that's pretty much where I started, and I started doing shopping, personal shopping for many people. And then I got employed doing personal shopping for a department store. And then from there, I saw a niche for custom clothing because how I was doing styling, I could not find the right clothing that I wanted for my clients. So that's why I decided to start doing custom tailoring. And that's basically how I started. And yes, as I said, what made me start, it was basically I thought there was a lack of help for men at that moment, and I still believe that today men really don't pay attention to what they're wearing much. And I think the dresses, the people with more style, the people that have more awareness in the image, in the importance of image, are the ones that can help more men into this journey of dressing better. Basically was that. And I'm looking at now here in Salt Lake City. I do have my own custom tailoring company, and we do many things as well as course for people like yourself. But the reality is based on on the need that this industry is so, how can I say, so not really easy for people to understand what's going on in terms of what we do, because people might think that they come here and just pick up a suit, pick a fabric or whatever, and it's so much more to it. And I love that side of this business, and again, I think it's a passion. So yeah, my mom was a dressmaker. My dad was a banker, always dressing nice. My mom always as well. Was dressing accordingly, and she was making a lot of things at home. But I didn't grow up thinking of I'm going to be doing what my mom does, or I'll be dressing how my dad does. No, it took me a few years to get into dressing the way I am today. Yeah.
So you were in Australia at first. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know Steve Calder from over there? I just interviewed him last week.
Steve Calder. Yes, of course. I made a suit for him back in the days before he had his own custom tailoring company.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we call it EB Spoke. Was a truly made by hand sport. I think it was a sport coat in a blue Prince of Wales pick lapel. We worked in the same department store. Steve Calder worked for Zegna for many years, and I sold many Zegna suits to my clients as doing personal shopping.
That's so cool. That's
I know. There's a connection there. I know now he's doing a lot of Napolitan style. That's is pretty much what he likes. Yeah, I know Steve. We actually have friends in common. One of his friends called Peter Tran. I style him to win the biggest competition in menswear in Australia, which is Fashion on the Field, and he won 80,000 worth by dressing in I can't remember now. It was a double-breasted Prince of Wales in 2012.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was amazing. I was styling about 10 people for Virgin Blue, and I received a call from Steve. Peter just won. What? Peter just won. No way. Peter just won. I'm telling you. He said, no way. And that year actually was the year of everything for me. Start in the custom clothing industry just went crazy because I won the first and the third place in that same year, in that same competition. Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting. Very
Did you share any of that?
I don't know about Steve. We haven't spoken in a long time, but. And then a year after, they went to another competition, and Peter, the same guy, which is his best friend back in those days, and Steve always wore Zegna by then, always Zegna. So he went to the competition. He won the second place, and I won again, first and third. Peter went to that competition. And he got the third place again. Interesting that you mentioned Steve. There we go.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, he and I have kind of become I'd like to say we've become friends over the past few weeks. I'm actually wearing one of his polos from his Informale brand. But yeah, he's a great guy, super nice. I just had the pleasure of interviewing him last week, so that's really funny. So did you go to Melbourne to the States, or did you go other places in between?
Oh, so 2003, that's when I first, 2003, when I first migrated to Australia. I lived there until 2008. And then I left. I lived in Mexico for a year. I came to the States for a couple of months. I went back to Portugal. I learned more tailoring with the tailor. I stayed with the tailor for about six months. I went to a school of tailoring in Barcelona. And then I revamped my idea of tailoring at that time in 2009, 2010. And I had back, first I went to New Zealand, and then I had, wait, before that, I lived in Spain for about a year. And then I went to New Zealand for about 10 months. And then I went back to Australia for about I think 4 years, more 4 years. And then I left Australia and I came to the States.
Wow. You've been all over. That's
all over the place.
Crazy.
I think I lived in 7 or 6 different countries in 5 or 6 different continents.
Man, that's really cool. I'm very jealous about that.
Yeah, it's interesting that I think one of my biggest assets is that traveling and that experience with living with different sort of cultures, learning about people, and that what helps me today to understand people better when I do my consultations. And yeah. I think the rate of understanding is higher now with all these travelings.
Yeah, that's really cool. So that's definitely a high point with winning those competitions. That's great. Like, what are some of your best moments just in the industry?
Well, yes, I cannot forget those moments. And for many years, since 2012, then I saw a target. Let's say I started dressing people to go to those competitions. So year after year, I was winning. Of course, it became more competitive in 2015, and I did end up not winning first place, only third and top 10. Became more competitive, and as well, it's a panel of few judges, and there's brands involved, and I was not that big of a brand. In that style, people being a little bit more biased to a few things, and they see that the small guy not as a guy to be recognized as much, because those 2 competitions that we used to promote or we used to target, they are sponsored by department stores that sell suits. So they all want that the suits that they are selling, the brands they are selling, to be on the top 3 at least.
Yeah.
So it leaves less margin for other people that come, the outsiders that don't have a brand, and come and try to conquer that. Well, we were winning because of the styling. It was not only about the suit. We were winning because of the styling. The guy always had a hat, always have some props, proper knot, all about the pocket square. And those days, I have to be honest with you, there was no many people putting a pocket square or understanding that the men's wear a hat makes such a more impact than not having a hat. So we were all about styling, and so that's why we won. I have to be honest with you, it was not about the quality of the suit. It was more about how that guy looks. If everything is there, everything is there. It's the harmony between the top to the shoe, from the hat to the shoes. Is all that? Yes, it is all there. The intricate of the fabric to the tie, to the pocket square, and the shoes, all that together. That's why we won many times. From 2012, 13, 14, and not 15, but 15. Actually, 15 as well, not 16. So all those 3-4 years was consecutive winning. And then I left Australia. And I don't know exactly what's going on now in that industry. And I believe it became even more competitive because in 2012 there was no many custom tailoring out there. So it was more about brands, and I was the only one doing custom tailoring, and having the ability to understand the industry and to tweak the styles, the fashion into more sartorial fashion.
Right. Yeah. And that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. And then that's when people start to understand, and year after year, they start to see my suits and start to see my styling, and then people start to kind of replicate. And as well, brands will kind of like see, there's a lot of custom tailoring out there. Let's start to do as well. Brands start to doing custom tailoring as well on the side, not only being ready to wear. So the competition became bigger, which I think is great for us, great for everyone, great for the industry, great for the menswear alone, which is good.
Yeah, totally. You just inspired me to try and start one here in Colorado. I don't think there's anything like that anywhere near here. Maybe in New York and California, but nothing in the Midwest or anything like that. So
they used to attach this to the racing horse carnival, to the spring racing carnival. Yeah. There, it is big. In Melbourne, I think it receives about 500,000 of visitors in a week, with a lot of meetings. From Saturday, which is the Derby Day, where the biggest competition is. You sort of should not wear anything besides black and grays and whites, because it's Derby. Derby is traditional black and white, any shades of black, any shades of white. So, and the girls go with the big fedoras, big fascinators, and big hats, and beautiful style. I love it. It's so classy. Even big actors from here go down there, like Nicole Kidman. Of course, she's Australian. Even Naomi Campbell. Big actors go there just for that particular day, which is the Derby Day, which is Saturday, first Saturday of November.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, are you going to go back?
Yeah, you had that down there.
Let's do it. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And so you mentioned about the hats. You always style with hats. And I just have to say, I love all of your hats. And I don't know if you remember this, but you and I had a conversation just through Instagram, maybe I want to say like 6 to 8 months ago, just about how to wear black hats and everything, because I was asking you about it. I saw one of your pictures.
I remember vaguely. I remember that you asked me a few questions about that.
Yeah, and it definitely inspired me to go out and get some hats. I don't think I've found any that I feel like I can pull off every day, but I'm still working on it, and that's all from your inspiration. Could you just like tell me a little bit about like what you got you into hats? Because you seem to be very, very into them, and it's great, and it's so cool.
I think it is, again, a form of respect that I was gaining out there. Again, you spoke about before, we spoke about self-esteem and, respect. I think it's one of the things that I get out of any, even today, look, and I don't want to be very political or talk about race and all that. Even today, I get respect out of any race, any age, just from presenting in a three-piece suit or put a hat on. All those things adds to the style, but at the same time adds points to a more gentleman approach. Yes, I think one of the reasons that I started wearing hats was basically the competitions that I used to styling people. But then, even then, I was not wearing hats daily. I think I started wearing hats daily when I start traveling with the hats. Because I had to travel with hats, and sometimes you want to travel, you don't want to put your hats all in one bag and get all squished. I always travel with a hat. And so I always wear a hat, and I start getting very comfortable with the hat, because as well the image that I was showing, people was respecting even more. So you start getting more comfortable with the hat, And I think these days is one of my assets, always a statement, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. Because anytime I see you in pictures or anything like that, it's a very distinct style, and I always know that that's you. Even if I'm just quickly scrolling, I'm like, oh, that's Eduardo.
Yeah, that's right. Interesting.
Absolutely. So what are some of your style inspirations that you pull from? Like, do you have any particular art directors that you really follow closely for inspiration, or you kind of built that yourself?
I used to. Now I have a very mature style that I don't get inspired in any particular person. But I have to be honest with you that Instagram is a great way to get inspired. And one guy that I really like to look at his styles and is David Gandy, which is a British model, and he does a lot of collaborations with a lot of brands, meaning he models to a lot of brands. And he has a British style, but a very fitted style in terms of British, because British tends to be more relaxed. But he has a very British twist to the modern days. So I like David Gandy. Of course, there's other guys on Instagram that we always look. There's the Italian icons such as Mararo or Daniel Zanotti, Daniel V in his Instagram. There's other guys that I'll look. There's the guy, what's his Thomas, the guy from Absolute Bespoke, he has a beautiful style. There's Rubinacci, if you want to go for more relaxed look, again on the Italian tailoring and very sprezzatura in somehow. There's many, but I tend to not stick to those styles. One thing that gives me more inspiration is looking at fabrics. For me, it's the most inspiring things. Even now, I'm looking here. I have 2 books open of fabrics, and I'm trying to think of something. So I'm just getting inspired as I go. I receive new bunches of some brands from Italy, some new meals. So I think the meals for me is what inspires me. It's not actually, and then I can create whatever I want.
Yeah, definitely. I love looking at the Mills Instagram pages too, and their websites to see all of it. And I haven't been in the industry long enough to be able to get new books as they come in, but every time I do, I'm just so excited about it, and it's very inspirational. I love it. But so what kind of advice would you give to someone who is just trying to find their style and just trying to find how they express themselves through menswear, with finding their style? What kind of advice would you give somebody like that?
I think you need to jump into a journey of discovery. What is that? What does that mean? It's like you going to a highway alone, and you just have to see everything. Just drive and look. drive and look. Same thing here. So we spoke about the meals. Looking at things like fabrics for me inspires me. If you don't have that creativity mind, go into Instagram and look at as much as possible. But again, try to understand your body. Try to understand that you are looking to someone that is not like you. Try to find some body types that are more similar to you, because things might look good in some people, but doesn't mean that it's going to look good on you. So as much as possible, just breathe, eat whatever you can from all these sources that we have these days, and we didn't have back in the days, when I was growing up. And now I see this bridge between menswear fashion and sartorial approach, all connected through social media, and I think it's the biggest source of information, biggest source of styling these days. Start following more, start seeing more of the style that you think you might want, then less of what you have these days. So fade what you have, bring what you want, basically. I'm trying to say this because I say to a lot of people, show me your feed and I know who you are.
Yeah.
So I'll find out exactly who you are if you show me your feed, be it Instagram or Facebook. So remove what you have too much and bring new. That's going to create the new you as well. And I'm talking about a lot of things that we have, and sometimes we have too much and we get addicted or we get stuck to a particular style. I think that the more diverse, the more goes again to my traveling. The more I saw, the more I understand who I was.
That's really good.
Yeah, the same thing with styling. The more you see, the more you get your hands on it, the more you're gonna find out that you're gonna get that funnel into what you really want or what you will be.
Yeah, that's really, really good. I love that. So you have like a really unique style, as we've said before, and I love it. And that takes a lot of intentionality. So one of the reasons we started Inherent Clothier was because of the intentionality in the morning of putting on a suit and being intentional about what you're presenting to the world. And whether that's confidence, I like to call it a suit of armor that I put on myself, because in the morning, no matter what's going on with your life, people watching this and know my story, I've had a really tough time. And the only thing that really helped me get through the day was putting on that suit of armor, and knowing that I looked good, and knowing that I was just a little bit confident in what I was presenting, to the world. Do you have that same kind of experience, or can you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think when I don't put a suit on, I'm just not me anymore. That's why I can't say not a suit. Let's say when I don't dress up, it's just not me anymore. Dressing up, meaning for people, dressing up is meaning putting on nice clothes. For me, I only have nice clothes.
Yeah.
I don't have bad clothes. So my day to put bad clothes, to put the casual clothes, the sweatpants and the t-shirt and all that is my Sunday. And I don't want to talk about anything related to fashion and anything. It's my relaxed Sunday. 6 days a week, I put it, and my people might think that is a pretending image. It's not. It's just me, 100% me, and the way I want it to be. I work in the suit industry. I work in the suit industry. I work in the retail industry, let's say, or consulting industry. But it's more me. I don't dress for people. I dress for myself. I dress for the mirror. What I see is what I want to get out of this. Every morning, for me, a lot of people say, "Oh, it might take a long time for you to dress up." These days, it doesn't take a long time, because there is a routine that is so easy for me now. I already know what goes well with who. And so the jacket goes well with that, and that shirt's going to work pretty good with those pants and with that tie. So I develop by this routine, day after day, a comfortable approach, And not only a comfortable approach, an approach that represents me 100%. I don't see myself without a jacket these days walking on the streets. I don't need to put a suit on, or a tie on. But to me, even yesterday, I was talking to someone, and I was saying, always with a jacket. Always, no matter how hard it is, I'm always wearing a jacket in public. And that's has been actually prior to me starting this business, has been me always wearing a nice jacket, blazer, sports coat, whatever you want to call it, but always something.
Yeah. And how do you think that affects like your confidence levels in the morning? Maybe when you were just starting, like, did you notice a big difference of like, oh man, I'm sure you've had bad days like everyone has, and you're just kind of like, oh man, today's going to suck. But if I can just get dressed and feel good about myself, it'll make at least this thing I have to take care of a little bit easier.
Yeah. There's days that you don't feel like the day before or the week before. I actually posted a video on my story, and a couple of days ago, I think it was Friday or Thursday, I felt amazing, and it all had to do because the way I was wearing what I saw in the mirror. So basically, I think those things for me definitely they have a big they pay off. Let's say. Sometimes you feel a little bit not motivated, and I actually go back to words of Tom Ford. He said when he was depressed, he said the best thing he had was putting one of these great suits and go buy some vegetables. Go to the vegetable market and buy some vegetables. Just that just creates a new you. And I'm pretty much on that subject. I tend to not be overwhelmed with life these days, but sometimes we are, and we don't know why, but we are. And I think just from putting a nice clothing, something that makes you look great, and even finish up with a nice hat, I think it's always helps for me to take the day. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for speaking on that. I don't want to take too much of your time, but a closing question I like to ask everybody is just from a kind of wider perspective. How do you think mental health and confidence in clothing just go together?
Oh, yes. I would say that image is a big thing. Image can be divided in many subjects, from grooming to present yourself, to the clothing, to the shoes, even to the smell that you send out there. So all that together, I think it is a big. It takes a lot of perception who we are and who we want to be, and not only that, it can help the ones that don't know who they are and they don't know who they want to be. They don't know where to go. They don't know where they came, and they kind of like lost. So I think image helps a lot of people to find themselves again. Why? The triggers of image is the people. You start to be noticeable. You start to be noticeable for yourself in front of the mirror. You kind of like you revamp your image. You revamp yourself. Your inner you. It starts to come out. You start to play with colors. You start to love to put a tie, or even a hat, or even a pocket square, or even just a jacket over, something that you've never done. And when you start to develop this image, this approach to something that it's new for you, but at the same time you start to find about you, oh, I actually like this. I actually like, it's not all hate. You actually start to liking things, start to appreciate things. And people start to appreciate you because you start to appreciate yourself as well. So all these things is like a reflection, it's like a mirror. It just bounces back to you. It's such an energy. I walk on the streets and I get, oh, looking so nice. Oh, hi, how are you? Oh, I like that suit. Oh, that hat, beautiful. Oh, I love your shoes. All those things is such a trampoline for you to kind of like be on the clouds and be so happy with yourself, like happy with life, happy with what you do, like you go to work, or even, jumping in the train. If I dress this way, jumping on the train, people just look at me kind of like, so nice to see a man dressing like that. Oh, yeah, hey brother, you're looking great today. There's all kind of compliments or all kind of appreciation, or people start to noticing you. And when you start to noticing that, you're starting to put more effort into your life, and you're kind of like a flower that just got some water over, and it just starts to flourishing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love the passion too. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate it. Do you want to just tell people where to find you and your website and Instagram and everything like that?
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, as I said, my name is Eduardo Xavier. You can find me under Eduardo Xavier _ the European, my Instagram, and you can reach out to me and as well over my website, EuropeanCustomTailor.com. And let's play. Let's be us.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.